Hannah Nordman, and this is Hot Roster Now to get you caught up on this weekend's playoff happenings. The first round of the NHL playoffs are over, and teams are starting to punch their ticket to the second round in the NBA, and most of them have happened in pretty dramatic fashion. A record was set for number of games that required overtime to find a winner in the NHL, with 18 games needing at least one extra frame. We got 20 full or partial periods of free hockey in round one. Maybe even more amazingly, that number was reached without a single series reaching 7 games. On Saturday, revenge was a dish best served on ice. 3 teams were on the verge of elimination, and all were ousted, each by a former head coach. Mike Yeo, Alain Vigneault, and Peter DeBoer had the pleasure of bidding farewell to their former teams, the Minnesota Wild, Montreal Canadiens, and the San Jose Sharks, at the hands of their current teams. Then, Sunday afternoon, an unlikely player scored the series-clinching goal in Boston. 6.5 minutes into the first overtime period, Clark MacArthur took a pass from Bobby Ryan and put it in the back of the net to send his Senators to the second round. He became just the 5th player in NHL history to score a series-clinching OT goal in the playoffs after not scoring any goals during the preceding regular season. A guy who's played just a combined 8 regular season games in the past 2 years, a guy who hasn't earned as much as an assist since the 2014-15 season, is responsible for their second round bid against the New York Rangers. Finally, it was Washington's turn to finish things off, and for the 5th time in a 6-game series, they did it in OT. It was one of the best and shockingly most evenly matched series in the playoffs. All games were decided by a single goal, and even smaller categories like shot attempts and shots from the slot were nearly identical. Round 2 starts Wednesday with Nashville visiting St. Louis and Anaheim hosting Edmonton. Over to the hardwood, LeBron set some records of his own. With the Cavs' 106-102 victory over the Pacers, they completed the sweep. For LeBron, that was his 10th career playoff sweep, passing Tim Duncan for the most in history. He's also the first player to earn 21 straight opening round wins. Having James lead your team is as good as a first-round bye at this point. The sweep didn't come easy, though. They won all 4 games by a combined 16 points, tying the record for the lowest margin of victory in a sweep. The Cavs get a week off before facing either the Bucks or Raptors in the second round. The Grizzlies are getting creative with their defense, or at least they're open to it. Memphis coach David Fizdale said openly after Game 4, "Honestly, I'm taking suggestions on how to guard Kawhi Leonard. I've tried everything, and the guy's he's tough." Yeah, he is. Though the Grizzlies have evened the series at 2 apiece, Leonard is averaging 32.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 3.3 assists through the first 4 games. You know what they say, if you can't beat him, publicly crowdsource a new defensive solution. And the Golden State Warriors will be down a key man for the foreseeable future. Head coach Steve Kerr hasn't manned the sidelines since Game 2 and announced he won't be back unless he sees some significant improvement. He missed 43 games last season with back pain and other symptoms caused by a spinal fluid leak during back surgery. In that time, the Warriors went an incredible 39-4 under Luke Walton. It's a scary situation for a guy who should be much further along the recovery road nearly 2 years post-surgery. With Kerr still watching tape and advising his team, it shouldn't be too big a challenge for his star-studded team, but it certainly could come into play a series or 2 down the line if he's unable to return. That's it for me. Remember to check out HotRoster for their cards available tonight. And for those of you who don't know what HotRoster is, check it out. Go to HotRoster.com, download the app, give it a try. It's like no other fantasy game you've ever played. And then for help winning the game, check out HotRoster today with Cam Stewart and Gary and Thorne every weekday at 4:30 Eastern on the Fantasy Sports Network and 6:30 Eastern on Game TV. For HotRoster Now, I'm Hannah Nordman.